Okay, so I want to talk about social interactions today because I feel like it's so important and it's like part of our like human nature to just like talk with people, whether it's strangers, whether it's people we're close by. And yeah, there's introverts and extroverts, people who find it more enjoyable to talk to people who, and there's people who are like more on the cautious side. But I do think that the basic principle of us is to find these connections with people and to have these kinds of connections. Now, what type of connections and what you build these connections on, that's a whole different topic, and that plays into the introverted extroverted part. But I do think that everyone um, everyone is looking for that. Everyone's seeking that. Like no one wants to be lonely. That's why a lot of people have a fear of loneliness. Now, I think COVID gave a big ass reality check where I remember, I don't know about you guys, but when I came out of COVID, like I felt so much anxiety towards people. I felt like everyone was like judging and like looking at you, and it felt like yeah, it felt like really anxiety inducing. If even starting a conversation with people, and especially now with like the online and like how efficient and accessible everything is, where you can just order a package online, order your groceries online, and not deal with people. I feel like it really like it was like an add-on, like a supplement to that, where people were becoming more aware in themselves, but in like a negative sense, where they felt like everyone was looking at them. And let me tell you, let me tell you, um, once you humble yourself in the sense where you go outside and like that's what I did. I purposely just went up to strangers and like started talking to them, and it might sound weird, but you just start realizing that it doesn't matter. Like it's not that deep. And also, if someone does that to you, like don't you find it enjoyable? So why would that not apply to you doing it to someone else? Like basically a reflection. Like if you seek that for other people doing that, why don't you be that for someone else? Now, starting conversations with people and just talking to them, like okay, once again it plays into the extrovert introvert thing, but I do think that the principle is that people enjoy talking to each other. Not okay, depending on the conversation, depending on the interest of topics, depending if the person's only yapping about themselves versus asking you questions too. But once you find the right thing, like you cannot avoid connections with people. You cannot avoid human interaction. And I feel like it's really easy to do it nowadays. It's really easy to just not have these conversations with people, to just stay in your own bubble, stay in your own life. But you realize that it's way bigger than that. And if you don't form these connections with people, if you don't have these meaningful connections outside your family members, where I feel like a lot of people have like formed these lifelong connections when they're in school, in their career, in university, in these kinds of environments where they're like forced to be with these people around them. But once you just go out into real life, people are just so in their own bubble and you just don't see people talking to strangers, or you do in certain cultures, but when you go into like New York or when you go into these like big cities, you don't see those kinds of interactions that much. And I guess the point of the video is to go and also seek these interactions, because the amount of things you can learn from people, the amount of stories you can hear from people, and just like it makes you feel so much better. Like just I just went out and I gave compliments to people and I just started talking to them, and then it's like no one's looking at you as much as you think people are. No one is thinking about it, and if they are, it's like a positive thing. It's like, oh, like like it's nice, like she complimented me. Like just give a compliment to someone, like, and you realize that life is not that deep. And I feel like that's like the main message of today is like go out and like do uncomfortable things, because it makes you, especially ones that you know are going to make you feel so much better about yourself after. And okay, you can argue on the other side, what's the point of talking to strangers? But then what's the point of basically everything? Like there's a lot of what's the point, what's the point? But talking to strangers, not only do you not know what kind of connections you can build with them in the future, what kind of people you can meet, but also the lessons and the stories you hear from them. Like I've experienced a lot of life advice that I got from other people that I didn't have to live with on my own, that I didn't have to find out on my own. Basically like a little cheat code. But still, talking to people so important, and also for your mental sake, for your own sake, and also it makes people feel better, community welcoming. Like, I guess I'm just challenging you guys to just go out on purpose and just like, it's hard. Like, I remember the first time I did it, like I had to prepare myself like 20 minutes, but once you do it, you're like, damn, like it was not all that. Like, in my head, like, so many barriers form in your own head that don't even exist in reality. So many fantasies that you create about what's gonna happen, um is she gonna reject me? Okay, so what? So what? You move on. It is what it is, like, it's a like I, so many people are so scared of rejection, but like, you just have to remember that at first interaction, at first glimpse, you can make assumptions about people, but you don't truly know them. So what are they assuming about you? Like, they don't know anything about you, and that's just something you have to remind yourself with these kinds of surface level rejections. Now, yeah, I'm just telling you guys, just go out and just like talk to a stranger, even complimenting a stranger, a cashier, some person that you see put an effort into their appearance. Like, it just makes you feel better about yourself, not even about the other person. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today.